Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs. Well, those crickets mean that it's just me, everybody. This is the first time in our long alleged history. I think this is 420. No, yes, I think this is episode 420. If I'm wrong, throw rocks at me. Tony is unable to be here today for this joyous occasion, and as is Rob. They are, and those are legitimate, like, I really, truly, no way possible can make it. I'm terribly sorry. You are stuck with me, but I'm pretty sure I can carry the load here. Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast, where I'm thrilled to death that you are listening to our show. We've got a fantastic guest, very, very exciting. Guest, who are you?
So I'm Mikko from Mad Professor.
I'm Jussa, also from Mad Professor.
We have Mad Professor in the house, and we have a lot of story to unravel here. I'm sure many of you out there are very familiar with Mad Professor, but maybe not as familiar with the new Mad Professor, or what do you call it? Mad Professor Redo?
Maybe a Mad Professor 2.0.
There you go.
New
All
generation.
Right. Excellent. This is also a great occasion, as I mentioned. We've got you guys are from Finland, and you're in Finland. Not only that.
Yep.
This is exciting. Now, we haven't had anybody from Finland before that builds guitars. Is it just you guys on the island?
Well, not an island, but yeah. Well, there's
it's a proverbial island.
yeah. There's the other bigger company would be Neural DSP and they are based in Helsinki. So
okay.
And then there's a few smaller ones, but yeah. Mainly that.
And Nokia is there.
Yes.
They should. Well, they missed the boat on building pedals, man.
Yeah.
They should have.
They could have been somebody.
Yeah. that little up and coming company.
They'll make their way someday.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
I have a little box of all my old phones that I kept through the years, and my girls are just. They think it was the most interesting box we had in the house when they were growing up.
Yep.
Because they were all different, completely different, not even remotely the same. Right. And all the Nokia ones were teeny tiny, and they would just run all over the house and pretend to talk to each other on all these old phones, pulling up the antenna and everything. Is great.
That's amazing. Yep. Yeah, I think I had one of those actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, now we're all stuck with the very same super awesome phone. So what do you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, we have a few announcements. One announcement so I'm going to be carrying the load to all of our normal listeners. This is probably going to be a little bit weird, but I will do my best for you, I promise. And I truly do miss my friend Tony and my friend Rob here. Okay, so I just talked with Monger Pedals last night, who was recently on the show, and he wanted to make sure that one of our supporters gets that IPA overdrive. So we are going to make that happen for him. So we'll be giving that away next week when I can make Tony do the monkey dance on our video, because otherwise, what's the point, right? And that's it for this week. I think we need to find out what is going on in our music worlds this week, collectively. The three of us, lonely people. Why don't I go ahead and start out? Typically, Tony would, but so you can kind of get the gist of what we're doing. But I'll go ahead and throw myself out there on the said sword. So this week, I had, most of our listeners are familiar that I had a Sound City Concord amplifier. Which is, I think it was about 1975, and it's a pretty rare one because it was blonde. all the other ones I've ever seen have been black Tolex with like the silver kind of screen, and it's a very, I think, aesthetically pleasing amp. I really just kind of bought it because I was like, that looks so mid-century cool. I can't stand it, and it's loud. It's got a ton of headroom. It's kind of like, if you're not familiar with them, I'd say it's probably more akin to like a high watt or something, because it's just loads and loads and loads of headroom. I sold it to this guy who, and it's a 2-twin combo, by the way. And I sold it to a guy who, it was, when you sell something to somebody that they are more excited about getting it than you are selling it, it's a good thing.
Yep.
And he said, "Oh man, I could hardly sleep last night." And I was like, that's fantastic. I love it that it's going to a good home. And the first thing he said when I got it, we'd been talking about it. I brought it to him, and he goes, if you disconnect the VU meter, you can actually get a really fantastic heavy overdrive out of this. And I said,
Nice.
"What? Wow. Who figured that out?" And he's like, "Oh yeah. He really likes the Sound City amps." And so I'm curious. Hopefully he'll send me an example of that. I've never heard or seen of that, but more power to him. So I really hope he enjoys that amp. And I tried to get him to listen to the show. So hopefully you're listening, man. All right, gentlemen, why don't we start with Jussa?
All right. So going on in my musical world this week, I've had a lot of awesome shows I've seen this week. So let's start with last Friday. I was in London to just visit London and see some shows and musicals. And on Friday, I went to see this Toronto hardcore band that was playing in London, Kentish Town, that is called Pup. I've seen them.
P-U-P or P-O-P?
P-U-P.
Pup. Okay.
Yeah. I've seen them once before opening up for the Menzingers on their London show, and it was a great show, man. There was these two amazing openers. One was called Goo. I think they're from the UK, and then there was this LA band called the Illuminati Hotties.
Okay.
That was a great show. I met some good people there, some Canadian, very lovely people. And then my main thing for that trip was to go see City and Colour play Royal Albert Hall to celebrate his first record called Sometimes. So those were both amazing shows in the UK, in London.
Wow.
And then on last Tuesday, I went to see Devon Allman Project play in Helsinki. Devon is actually a friend of the company, so it was great to meet him and see him play and talk about some gear and
nice.
Spend some time with him. And
how'd you get so much personal time off from the company here?
Well, I manage. We can like distribute some of the workload, and I can do some things in advance. So
yeah, that was his whole summer holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get any time off after this. But last night I went to see this amazing Finnish punk night. There's this record label called Combat Rock Industry, and they turned 25 years now. So it was started in 2000 to like help Finnish hardcore punk bands take over Europe and go play some shows there and release music. So there were 4 bands playing that night, and it was Wasted, Abductio, Manifesto Jukebox, and Endstand. And it was a really great night, and they're actually doing the show again tonight, so they will have two nights of that music. And my brother is actually going tonight with his friends, and it was just a great community night celebrating some amazing punk music.
That's awesome. I love that. Now, for listeners, if you didn't catch all those names, that's okay. Just remember, Combat Rock record label. If you go there, they'll. I'm sure that these bands will be. That they will be on there. Maybe even check out the Combat Rock Instagram and see if you can. Track these bands down so you can give them a listen. Live music is awesome.
It is. It's one of my favorite things.
You had a heck of a week.
Yeah, it's been really busy week.
I'm actually planning my trip to London as well. Well, actually not exact. Ultimately, we'll end up in London, but I'm going to see my good friend Joe from Hello Sailor in September because we're going to the Oasis show. So,
right, you managed to get tickets.
Yes. So I'm really, 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 really excited for so many reasons, and I'm hoping we get to meet all of the builder friends that we've met over the years, and a whole bunch of new ones too. So super fun times. And this summer, for whatever reason, is like awesome concert summer. Especially here. I'm sure it is. I feel like it is kind of everywhere right now, which is great. Yes.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's now kind of starting to reach like a good level, like post-COVID.
Yes.
That it has been kind of building back up, and now like this summer looks like really good actually.
Yeah.
Indeed. We, in fact, coming into town next week. Guess who's going to be on the show next week? I'm crossing my fingers because I may have to take this out. I hope I don't. But we're going to have Peter Hook in the studio from Joy Division and New Order.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I'm wildly excited about this.
Yeah.
And so Peter Hook and the Light are coming next. So when you hear this, they will be. When people hear this, they will be here this next week thing. You get it.
Yeah.
And we got The Damned. We've got Queens of the Stone Age. We had Devo. We had oh my gosh, I know I'm forgetting just loads and loads more. But anyways, it's great. I'm super excited for the summer. So
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we have to hear from Mikka now too. Whatever, go ahead.
Yeah. My week hasn't been as eventful as Jussa's, so.
Well, you were working. That's the thing.
Yeah, holding down the fort. But actually this week I feel like I have played guitar a lot more than I have in a long while, which is actually really nice because that's not always a given when you work in the industry, sadly. But and actually I feel like now like doing a bunch more like demos and things like that for products has actually pushed me to practice a lot more, which is always super nice. And for some reason, I mean, Jussa knows this, I have a weird Les Paul thing going on right now that I'm kind of, I have for the longest time, I haven't actually longed for specifically any guitar. And actually Les Pauls have never really been a thing for me, but for some reason, those are really catching my eye right now. So we'll see if one ends up on the wall soon. But
specifically, what has got your interest peaked, and what model are you looking for?
Well, so this kind of started since we did the guitar show in Birmingham, and we were loaning a FGN gold top Les Paul with P90s, and that was actually just genuinely very, very nice to play. And we actually ended up borrowing that for the Synth and Pedal Expo in London in the same month. So I feel like that kind of kickstarted it. And then, I don't know, I have, again, like mainly I play P90s or single coils. So then now I feel like for the first time in a long while, I'm like actually very interested in humbuckers. And this one Finnish company also came out with new humbucker pickups. So Ruokangas Guitars, they started their own pickup line now, and I actually got to try those earlier in the year in an expo. And then actually the guy who designed them came to visit us at the shop as well. So I got to try them again, and they are pretty much the best like PAF style humbuckers that I have ever heard. So
nice.
That's kind of, so funnily enough, I'm looking at a like humbucker guitar so that I could change the pickups.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
essentially.
So is there a particular, so if you had to wave your magic wand, what would show up at your doorstep after the show?
I've been really looking actually at the heritage ones.
Oh,
I'm blanking on the name that I just looked at. One of our partners actually had it in store that I was tempted to try because it's in the same city as our office. So when I go visit next week, who knows? Maybe I go test
see.
it out. It's just, again, like I have never really gravitated towards like, I'm not much of a brand loyalist. And then also like majority of the stuff that I play, I actually built myself back in that like years ago.
yeah.
So then like I'm not really after like brands specifically,
Uh-huh.
but it's like, I don't know, when something just connects when you
get
try it, that's kind of like,
Yep.
I always want to just play and see if it works.
Yeah. You know, when that happens, it is just, if you know, you pick something up and you're like, well, now how am I going to get this thing off me?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
that's great. I mean, and for me, we've talked about this many times on the show. There are certain guitars that are just like kryptonite to me. Like I don't even want to handle them. I don't know why. It's just how it is. So yeah, that's cool, man. Well, good luck to you. And I'm maybe you're gonna post out pictures of stuff.
Who knows if I actually end up getting one, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Good.
Eventually, I think.
Most likely eventually. But yeah.
We are, you know what? I'll just throw another thing at you since you're just kind of looking and whatnot. But one of the few guests we've got coming on, not next week, but the week after, is actually making a return visit, is Eastwood guitars.
Yeah.
And you've handled those before, I'm sure.
Yeah, they are quite rare actually here. Like I don't really come across them. Like I know them, but like I don't come across them like physically.
Yeah.
Like usually in these parts. So
well, they make a really nice guitar, and they are super like everyday player affordable.
Yeah.
Kind of shockingly so. And they always are putting out deals. So if anybody's considering something new, maybe want to check out the Eastwood. So then you have something to play when Michael comes back on the show. Everybody, there you go. Okay, let's do this because we got pedals. You make pedals. Yep. And we've got pedals here. And the best thing that we've found up to this point to stitch all these pedals together and get a great sound and make plenty of room on your pedal board is Tour Gear Designs patch cables from Canada. Our friends up there provide you, the listeners, a fantastic discount of 15% when you go to the website, load up your cart. You're going to want to do that because it's all the different sizes, it's and profiles, and we can't hype them up enough. You're going to load up your cart. You're going to hit purchase, but don't worry, it's not over yet because you're going to get a coupon code area. You're going to put in the guitar knobs into that. You're going to save that 15%, and that goes a long way these days. Take advantage of it because, hey, you never know, right? So thank you to Tour Gear for sponsoring our 4 on the floor.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right. I've got Jussa and Mikka from Mad Professor. Jussa, go ahead. It's your turn.
Right. Okay, so this is going to be an expensive one. I'm sorry. But I have my tastes. So I've been fortunate enough to pick up some pedals that were not working correctly. And since, we build pedals, so I've been able to repair them myself. I'm the guy. Yeah, so some years ago, I managed to pick up I think it's a V1, but not the like tag board one, but it's one of the first PCB ones. So, and really early version of the Timmy pedal
Oh.
from Paul Cochran.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the toggle switch on the top, so there are I think there's 2 dip switches inside. But there are some early versions of the V1 that's made on like this tag board or Vero board, you might call it. So this one is not that, but it's the PCB one. So it's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But
It's funny what we put prices on.
yeah, it is weird.
If this was even more poorly made, it's more expensive.
Yeah, right.
No,
right.
I'm not saying his pedals are poorly made. I'm just trying to create a graphic example. Everybody, please don't throw rocks at me.
Yeah, right. But it had the foot switch was I think it was kind of faulty, so I just changed that out, and it's been on my board ever since. So I think I've been using it with 18 volts, so it can go up to that. So it's really great to leave it just as an always on kind of thing. That's what I use it for, and then just boost it with other pedals, so I have something that will catch if I use like a treble booster or a low gain overdrive again, so I get that a little bit of more saturation from it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. It's really versatile pedal, and it sounds amazing. So
Do you put that before or after a treble boost?
I have it after. So right now on my board, the first pedal on my board is a treble booster. So I run into that, and then I have a G2 switcher. So I have everything going through that. But I actually have it really late in my chain. I think I have maybe a delay even before it.
Oh.
So I'm doing that kind of weird thing. Well, I have 3 delays on my board, so I can
Right.
I can throw one before some overdrive. Yeah.
Nothing says, and I don't know if you play this, but I got to make the joke anyways. But nothing says hardcore punk like 3 delays.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been joking that the music I make myself is kind of a wall of sound, kind of mush. So if I need some articulation, I can get it, but I really just enjoy drowning everything in reverb and delay.
Yeah.
That segues greatly into my next pick, which is again an expensive one. I'm so sorry. So I have a vintage Electro Harmonix Deluxe Memory Man.
Oh, yeah.
That it was a steal. I got it. I think it was like 35 euros I paid for it. Because,
What?
Yeah, because the seller said it was broken.
Oh.
But when I got it, I tried it, and there was no delay. So I plugged my guitar in, and I was like, okay, so this is actually broken.
Yeah.
And during my testing, for some reason, I just put the cable, because it has an echo out and a direct out as well. So I just plugged my guitar into the pedal and then put the output to the direct out, and there was the delay.
Huh.
So somebody, for some reason, just had flipped the jacks inside the pedal. So if you plugged your amplifier to the echo out, you actually got the direct out. So no delay. But if you put it in the direct out, you got the delay. So I just flipped those around, and it's been working greatly ever since. And
that's a handsome pedal too.
Yeah, it is. I really love it, even though it's really big. It's cumbersome because it needs its own power supply.
Yeah.
But there's just something about it. There's nothing like it, and it's like the grain on it. It's just amazing in all the right ways. Mm-hmm. So it introduces hiss and everything to your sound, but there's just nothing like it.
Now, would you ever be introduced? I mean, usually when you see some one of these kind of pedals, you're not going to go, "Hey, you know what I should do is change it." But the power source from some of these old pedals is just like, it's so annoying, because we like to have things tidy, right?
Yeah.
Would you ever switch that out for some sort of conversion?
So this actual unit, it's one of the like 70s ones. It used to have the transformer inside with like a power cord that connected to the pedal itself, and you couldn't remove the power cord. So at some point, I think in the 80s, I guess, from the power jack, somebody had modded it for power supply that is like this small 3.5 millimeter mono plug. So that's the mod that it has already been made to it. So I've been thinking about it to put like a normal, like Boss style power socket on it, but haven't just gotten around to it because there's something about it that I like, that it's like modded early in somebody had modded it like in the 80s or 70s or something. I kind of enjoy the fact that somebody has done a mod to it.
Yeah,
I
can understand that. That's like somebody putting like a, some kind of weirdo sticker on the guitar.
Yeah,
and
right.
you're like, yeah, but that's history. This thing's seen some things.
Yeah, right.
And at some point, somebody said, this is this is the way I'm going to express myself, and this is going to make my guitar mine, or my pedal mine. That's cool. I can get behind that.
Yeah. And it's not like I have the power supply for it, and I know I could run it from like Voodoo Lab. Yeah, apparently so.
Cool. Well, that's pretty nifty. All right, what's next?
Okay, so the next one is again one of those kinds of pedals that I got for a good deal because it was broken. So again, another foot switch replaced in this one. So it's an Earthquaker Devices Tone Reaper, and it's one of the earlier ones. So I think it's number 190. So it was still the time. I got the original box as well, and it had the information sheet, and it had like Jamie's old Yahoo email.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, but that's an amazing pedal. I really like the sound of that. So it's kind of a tone bender-esque kind of fuzz pedal. And you can get like these really thin fizzy sounds out of it, or just this massive fuzz. So I really enjoy that. And it's like somewhere in between a fuzz and an overdrive, actually. So I really like it because some like vintage fuzzes are like super mushy.
Yes.
So I like that for the reason that I can get the like cutting grit out of it as well.
Yeah, I see. I'm with you on the fuzz thing. From what it sounds like, I like the fuzz to have an edge. I'm personally, sometimes I struggle with like muff type fuzzes because I can't get out of the valley that makes. Right. So if I have two, but both of them have loads of mods all over it, so it's like, is it still really a muff?
Yeah, right.
That's cool. Yeah. What's number 4?
So the number 4 is a kind of a weird one. So I think I've seen like an overdrive pedal from this company, but this is like something that I have never seen before. But it's been on my board for a while now, actually. So I love chorus. So I'm really into my chorus pedals, and I've tried a really, really vast amount of different ones. But this one, even though it's really, again, a cumbersome pedal because of the size, but I just love it. So it's a Moolon chorus. So it's Moollon. I think the company is either from Taiwan or Thailand. I don't remember.
That sounds like a Thailand kind of name.
Yeah.
But it's a really great chorus pedal. It's like the enclosure is massive. So if you imagine a 9-volt battery, so it stands inside the pedal, like it's not flat, it stands upright because of the pedal. The enclosure is so big and deep. And I think
I'm seeing it, yes.
Yeah, I think there's like epoxy inside of the pedal as well.
Oh.
So it's kind of, again,
Oh, it sounds better.
yeah, it's been gooped.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but what I love about that pedal is that it has its own level pots for the dry signal and the wet signal. So you can, and then if I remember, there's also a mix still. Let me check. Wait a minute. Yeah, so there's the depth as well. So you can like mix it to have like a really, really deep chorus, but still have the level of the chorus like super mild. So you can really fine tune it in a way that you like. And you can also get the vibrato out of it. Just put the dry level to zero and you have a vibrato pedal. So I really love that you can really mix and fine tune the chorus signal levels. I mean, that's just, and it's all analog, so it's really like this lush and deep kind of chorus.
Wow.
And what
You're
I
selling
find,
me on this thing, man. Why are you trying to make me buy expensive stuff?
well, that's what I do. But
Wow. You know what's cool? It looks like, at first I thought it was acid etched, but this actually looks like it was like engraved, like gunsmith engraving.
Yeah, it's a really cool pedal.
Wow.
I really like it. So, and the thing I find difficult with most chorus pedals, like some of the like classics, even like a Boss CE2, I mean, they cut out a lot of bass. So they make the sound like kind of too thin for what I use it for. So that pedal doesn't do it. So it retains the low end as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think Mulan stock is going to go up after this show.
Yeah.
I'm certainly going to look into this.
Yeah.
If it exists somewhere.
Yeah. They are. I haven't seen like another one ever.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
happy hunting, guys.
Yeah. Well, and if this brand or what we're talking about has intrigued you, I do see a buffer age distortion on Reverb for $199. So maybe that's like how we are when we like one pedal. We're like, well, I must like the other ones too. So. Well, that's cool. I'm going to keep my eyes out open for that. The only thing that I can see on this that would potentially be a hazard is that there's a huge knob where the foot switch would normally be.
Yeah.
And then the foot switch is over in like the tap position over on the left.
Yeah.
So I would be nervous for myself, anyways, of stepping all over the speed knob and it just go.
Yeah. But I think the idea is that you can change it with your foot easily, so that's why it's in that position and like huge.
Yes, or very, very nimble big toe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got to learn about a whole bunch of cool new stuff there. How about you, Mikka?
Yeah, I think my picks are mostly going to be a little bit more accessible.
It's a good balance to find.
Yeah.
Jussa's flexing. Well, I mean, everybody's got to now and again.
Yeah, that's I mostly, well, I mean, I rotate stuff a lot. Jussa knows all about this. If you see something on my board for a long time, that speaks volumes. And actually this, Jussa's difficult to find chorus tangent was so good that I will actually start with this because it's funny because it's by Hermida Audio, so pretty well known brand, but it's the rotary reverb, and it's very, very difficult to find. So I first saw it I think 7 years ago, still pretty unknown YouTube guitarist at that point called Chris Buck had a demo of it on his page, and it was actually, I think it was the only demo that I found of the pedal. I think,
isn't that weird when you're like, oh man, I can't wait to see what's and there's like one or two things and they're from like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like I heard the video, Chris playing it, who actually, funnily enough, then I have followed ever since as a guitarist, which has been very rewarding journey since he's definitely up there with the best guitarists like these days. So it's has been really really good find in that sense too. But
now there's if you don't mind, there's several I guess maybe versions or what does this look like?
Yeah, so mine is the kind of the vintage cream colored, so it's the original rotary reverb. I think there's the scanner mod and then possibly something else. I'm trying to think, was there a different version as well, like a third version?
Wow, I'm not even seeing anything on here. The Valley reverb? No. Boy, that is rare. I mean, I'm not seeing anything.
And it's funny because it's by Hermida Audio, which is, you have your Zen drives and all that, like Tiki Drive, like quite a well-known pedals by him. And this, for some reason, just isn't out there. I don't even know how many are made. Would be nice to know that at some point, because I actually sold this at one point and then I tried to get it back and it was terribly difficult. So if you find one, don't sell it. That's my
okay
message here. But like especially the vibrato setting on that is definitely the best vibrato in a pedal that I have found so far.
Wow. Okay.
And it's I'm fairly certain that it's a digital pedal. I'm guessing FV1 chip or something in that vein. So it has like the vibrato is kind of like a magnetone vibrato, like amp vibrato thing, but like a pitch vibrato, not a tremolo. And then the chorus is a more like 80s, like maybe I would describe it maybe like a DC2, like Dimension style ish chorus. And then there's a rotary, which I, again, like rotary has been always like a big effect type that I have liked to use. So having all of that in one small box pedal is amazing. And then there is a reverb that is kind of, I would consider mostly plate style, maybe like as a reverb. And it's like, again, it's really nice to have both in same pedal, since I usually use modulation and some kind of reverb at the same time. So saves a lot of space when you need to save space.
Wow. Okay. Well, we are definitely all intrigued at this point. That sounds cool. Yeah, I like the idea of reverb with blank. I actually I should be arriving in any day now, but I picked up the where was it? Catalan Bread gated reverb.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny because I was looking at all my pedals and I'm like, I need a reverb for this one song to do a very specific thing. And then all of a sudden, like, I got served, I saw it and I was like, oh, that I think that's the thing. Like, that's kind of rare.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, when it comes to like guitar sounds, I usually gravitate towards, well, plate is definitely usually the kind of setting that I go for guitar, since it just kind of lives well in between. Like for me, it's like between spring and hole in a perfect spot usually.
I agree with that. I'm with you on that one.
But yeah, that's a really cool one if you can find one.
Yeah. I have been, as we've been talking about this, I have seen, it looks like there's some white ones out here. I don't know if that's like a later version, but it does have vibrato, chorus, and rotary. And it has the scanner lines on the front. So those are out there. If you see the one with the scanner signs, it might be white, but that might be the closest you can get to what Mikka's talking about here. So there you go.
Yeah. So I'm debating which is my order of things here, but actually, like I'll go with this one because this is something that has been very crucial to what I do guitar wise. So it's actually the Ditto X2 looper, which is I have had, I don't even know how many times I have had this looper because sometimes, like I've gotten into this stage that I'm mostly playing with the group or something, and I don't really necessarily need it. But then I enjoy doing a lot of like ambient stuff as well. So the fact that you can assign on the effects side of it for it to be a stop or a half speed or reverse. So what I would often do is like I would have kind of like just play a short melody so that I have like the half speed and the reverse already active. And then I can reverse that, and then like the recorded thing that I did, I can jump up an octave and have that in reverse. Then if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So stuff like that, like have kind of this like background shimmery noise thing. It's actually very similar to what I at some point did with the Chase Bliss Mood as well.
Okay.
Kind of like doing that kind of a shimmery like background thing. So that's a side name drop in in here then.
How about number 3?
That would be the Constellation by Crazy Tube Circuits. So a lot of
They make some great pedals, man.
Yeah, definitely a great company. Have played a lot of stuff by them, and yeah, so it has the kind of the fast face style, then like a tone bender, then 1.5, and then Mark II tone bender, and then Rangemaster, and then a Rangemaster boosted into a fast face.
Yeah,
which is especially the fast side of that is definitely like up there with some of the best like fast circuits that I have played. Just the fact that it reacts so well to your volume knob, and the cleanup is so good, which is something that I really enjoy in especially the vintage style fuzz, for it to do that like kind of glassy Strat cleanup thing. Think Jimi Hendrix.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like something that I really enjoy as a tone. So I use a fast face style pedal often as a kind of like clean sound also, so that I roll off the volume and use it like that as well. And then, if I want to bring it back to like a full fuzz, then it works in that too.
Now, are you playing mostly through a Strat? Is that your jam?
I actually I'm looking around, and I don't actually have anything that is really anything common. So
Okay.
so I have few offsets that are kind of like one I made myself. It's kind of like the body shape is kind of close to like a P bass almost, with a Bixby. And then I have an offset that which is our prototype guitar for all the shows, made with our friend Vuoren Saku here in central Finland. Shout out to Saku.
So how do you? Is it? So he makes guitars.
Yeah, he's a master luthier in town. So
What? How do you spell the last name?
Vuoren Saku. So wait, I have to Burensaku.
Okay.
Yeah, so he has this T family line of guitars. So that's pretty much out of everything I have on my walls. That's probably the most like accessible thing, funnily enough, since those are also custom built in the center of Finland.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'm checking out the site right now.
Yeah. If my pedals are hard to find, your guitars are even harder.
Yeah. Yeah. Then, this is kind of going off a guitar tangent, but pretty much the only factory made like electric guitar that I have on my wall is a Yamaha SA50T, and that's from 1968. So probably not well accessible either.
Yeah.
But I kind of and now you understand why it's weird that I'm gravitating towards like a Les Paul all of a sudden.
Well, maybe you're like, hey, this is kind of a pain. Can I just get some? Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some really interesting models. I'll have to check them out. So just for the listeners, one more time, go check this out. It's Wurensaku.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So VUORENSAKU guitars. Google will help you out if you get lost. Okay.
Yeah, and you will also find his Instagram from our page. Like there is the collaboration guitar.
Yes.
On our Instagram as well.
Yeah. I like what he's doing with the German carve on this on the sort of like barn wood kind of vibe bodies.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right, what else you got?
Yeah, so my number 4 would be actually this is very recent thing, but I really enjoyed it very immediately. So another European builder, funnily enough. So Jam Pedals, the Delay Llama, I believe it's the Mark III with the tap tempo.
Gotcha.
So,
I had the 2. It just had the. Wait, did mine have a tap too? Yeah, it did. It was a red one.
I think we are talking about the same one. Then it's the small box.
Oh, this one was the bigger one. This is the bigger box.
So this is the small box that they come. I think it's Mark III. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But really, again, I have always enjoyed Jam Pedals.
It's so smooth, man. Like, it's so warm, and that pedal is pretty special.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I was actually playing this week few gigs with it, so it was just really nice to kind of. Again, mainly I haven't had for now a delay pedal with the tap tempo. But there was like a few things that I essentially needed it for. So that was really cool compromise because I have had a bunch of like digital delays that, I generally associate with the tap tempo. But then it's nice to kind of have a middle ground because I like the analog delay sound way more.
Yeah.
So it's good to have the functionality, but still have the sound that you like.
Yeah.
And again, they look really cool.
Yeah. We had them on a couple years ago. I'll have to see if I can get them back on. And I tried to get Crazy too. We've gone back and forth so many times. I think it's just they are extremely busy, and trying to get them nailed down has been difficult. But I was really impressed with the range of pedals that they had. And I mean, I found functionality in almost everything. I'm like, I could take this whole board and I would be happy.
Yeah, definitely.
Too cool. All right. Well, that's our show, everybody. See, we get lost in this stuff, and that's good. Yep. That's a good thing. Okay, let's set the stage. We are at NAMM a couple months ago, and we turn the corner, and we see Mad Professor with 2 really young dudes, and that perplexed both me and Rob. And what was weird is I kind of had to shake the cloud out of my head, because the last time I was at NAMM, I talked to 2 much older dudes from Mad Professor, and I was like, what kind of water are you drinking, and can I have some?
It's a curious case of Mad Professor.
Yes. What exactly are you doing at that factory? So, it was just instantly we were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a great story. And you guys, I got to tell you, in the midst of NAMM, whenever you get to talk to somebody that is genuinely excited, gives you the time, makes you feel like you're the only person that they're talking to that day, and wants to connect, it's like that's what that's all about. And you guys were like 100% fit that mode altogether. So we said, well, whatever we got to do, we got to get them on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was actually a very conscious mission that we were on, overall, that we really want to meet people and encounter people, and that's why we have been personally going around as many expos as we can.
Yeah.
on the side of this year.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear that it's transferring on the other side.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
absolutely. You couldn't have been more nice and gracious with your time, and you have a very exciting story, and that transferred through the conversation. There's a lot of old Mad Professor pedals rolling around, and we actually tried to get the OG guys on the show, and they said yes, but then you know how that kind of goes. Sometimes it's like things just disappear. So I was thrilled to get you back, get Mad Professor back on via YouTube. You have an interesting challenge, though. I'm sure that you encountered where right out of the gate you probably have to do a lot of storytelling on like, wait, why are we talking to these two guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and share some of that story that you're probably well tired of telling?
It's okay. We got it down to a T right now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can start this one since the story kind of starts when I was doing my civil service in Finland, because in Finland there's a mandatory thing that you need to either go to the military or do a civil service. So it's weird, I know, but
I think that well, I mean, look, I haven't been subject to that, but it sounds like a nice idea.
Yeah, kind of, but it's kind of a mandatory thing. So you just
It's like the Italians.
Yeah. There are similar things in other countries as well. But yeah, I was doing my civil service at my old high school, and I had some free time on my hands. So one day I was I can't remember how I got onto that site, but I found this DIY pedal building blog called Tagboard Effects, and just kind of got curious about it. So because I had no idea that you could build pedals yourself, and then I was just intrigued about it, and then was like, okay, what the hell, let's go for it, and ordered some parts and soldered up a kit, and it got it to work after some battling with it, and was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of exciting. So that's where it started with me and my other friend, who's actually our graphic designer right now, so Eero, who does our like graphics right now. We just started to paint and build pedals for the DIY like scene in Finland and sold them on forums and that kind of thing. So that started kind of my pedal building career on that. And then at some point we had been doing it for some years, and then started to talk with Mikko about doing some original designs. So Mikko got involved in that at that point, and then we had some really cool like fuzz designs and some happy weird accidents that I personally love. And then we just were like, okay, let's start a company. So we started a company called Ha Audio, which translates into what audio, because the idea was that we were doing some wild fuzzes and really wild pedals. So we just laughed about it, that if somebody hears that or plays that, they're like, what's that? So it's
it's a haha.
So it has the like weird umlauts over the A. But you can still find our website. It's haaudio.com, so you can go and have a look around our history. But yeah, started doing that as a company, as a side thing. We did it for like 5 years or so, and did some Finnish expos and had meetings with other builders, and eventually met the OG guys from Mad Professor, so Harri and Jukka. And Mikko had done like some shopping with them. They had sold or bought gear of each other, and just had like a friendly relationship with them, but never thought anything more of it. And there was, at some point, there was discussion maybe we could do the hand-wired series for them, because the previous company that was doing the hand-wired stuff for Mad Professor had gone under. So they were looking for bringing that back. But then one thing led to another, and Mikko.
Yeah, so we had kind of just discussed it at an expo. Like, okay, like we can see what it would look like if we would manufacture some of the hand wired stuff for them back in the day, and like, you know, they had a big demand for it, but not really. Like, there's not really many options for actually manufacturing like electronics in Finland. Like, there's not many companies that you could even like outsource it to. So then we just kind of started talking about it, and kind of like, you know, we'll be in touch, and didn't really think much of it necessarily at that point. But then we just waited around, and, you know, we were just doing our thing on the side, and both had just regular jobs. But then just one day, Jukka actually called me while I was at work, and I just answered, you know, and he was like, yeah, like, you know, you remember how we talked about the whole like hand wired stuff and all that, but like me and Harry were just thinking that we are actually, you know, up there in age, and we are kind of wanting to retire actually. So would you have any interest of picking this thing up and, like, you know, just keeping this going? So that was a pretty baffling conversation.
Did you guys play it cool, or did you like? How did you handle that?
I think we played it cool. I tend to be very like straightforward, rational personality. So I was kind of like, oh, like just send us, you know, all the data of it, like, you know, what it looks like now, like how is the company doing, like what are you asking for it, like, you know, just like kind of
sure,
like let's get the specs and
like a used
see
car.
if we can make that work. So yeah, that was in, I want to say that was in March.
Yeah.
So
of March
2023.
23. Gotcha.
Yeah. So then, you know, a lot of work behind it and a lot of figuring things out. But then in last year, September 27th, we officially signed the papers and took over the ownership of Mad Professor, which has been a pretty crazy journey ever since.
Yeah. Lots of traveling, if nothing else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of product development, and just kind of really hit the ground running. And that was kind of the goal the whole time, that, like, you know, we know that it has been pretty quiet for the last few years. And ever since COVID, you know, things were kind of slower. So we really knew that if we are to pick this up, then we have to really hit the ground running, as I said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what a gift that is to make that connection. And I mean, based on our short conversation, I can totally understand how you guys, you have a magnetic personalities, and I could see how people would be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do, but let's do it with these guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. It's that's definitely obvious. I mean, maybe it's healthy that we don't see it that way ourselves. But yeah, it was just kind of surreal, you know, when they were saying that they didn't really, you know, have anyone else really in mind.
Yeah.
To, like, because again, it was important for them that if possible that the company stays in Finland and, you know, like goes to people who can, you know, do it for quite a while.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there were not that many Finnish young pedal builders in the scene.
Well, and I imagine that they're right. At least in your area, in your town.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, after all the hard work that they put in over the years, and you know, obviously a well-known but still semi-obscure brand, that, you know, you don't want to just hand that over to, so kind of like I was talking about with the amp earlier. I'm like, I really want this to go to somebody who's really going to love this thing.
Exactly.
You know? And boy, did they they strike it rich with you guys. That's really good. And maybe I said that the wrong way because implying that, that you paid through the nose, but you in theory
Yeah.
yes. So
They found the right people. Let's say.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, you have your shares in Nokia, so I understand. So I think a couple of our first questions were, you have, and by the way, I will say this: we probably talked about Mad Professor, the rest of NAM, maybe more than anything else. And I'm not blowing smoke at you guys either, because we were just really intrigued. Story wise, you have a legacy brand that is solely like visibly recognizable because of how many years it was put out like that. All the pedals basically, look the same. So there's a recognition there that is tempting to mess with, but also potentially like very destructive if you aren't careful with that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something that you have to be careful with. And that's kind of, again, with everything, like overall, like our mentality with this is that there's an important legacy that we want to preserve.
Mm-hmm.
And we, like I have been playing Mad Professor stuff for like over 10 years easily. So like I have a very close relationship with the products as well. And, like very familiar with the brand from that. And it's definitely something that you want to treat with respect and not just, come in and put your own spin on it.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like, of course, there's also, first amp came out in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So, every other company has kind of changed their looks and, like has so many different versions out of pedals. And that's not wrong at all. But like, it's kind of cool to see that like, oh, like this stuff has been kind of the same for a long while.
Yeah.
But again, like just kind of like moving forward, like how can we have it be fresh, but still have that legacy? So that's definitely a thin line that we try to walk very carefully.
Well, you have to create your own legacy now too.
Exactly.
So don't mess up.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of difficult, but also rewarding to find that balance of what you keep, what do you change, what do you remove, because there's a huge like back catalog of things. The history is great and long, but still we want to like do something, and we feel like we have probably found a good balance of that. So so the graphic like image, the recognition of the brand will stay like similar or the same, but we just tweak a few things here and there and make it fresh again, because it's the pedals and the designs have stood the test of time. So there's like no need, even though it's tempting to change, but there's no need to like change the actual products or the circuits themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to like do something still to make it feel like new again.
Yeah. It's, oh boy, what an exciting conundrum to have of like, what do we do new? What do we, and going, you're on a back catalog. Hey, let's bring this back. Wow, that would be really, really daunting too. Exciting, but daunting. Now, so you talked about you were bringing some new circuits in. You've got some hand-wired stuff still. You have not all the entire old catalog, but some of the entire back catalog, right?
Yeah. And actually, so the hand-wired, I'm trying to remember what year it ended, like the hand-wired stuff.
It's like 2019, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, that like about 5-6 years ago, when the outsourced company who was building them in Finland was bought out, I think. But so that's definitely something that we see as a big part of the legacy, and that we have already said very publicly that the hand wired stuff is coming back. So that is
Nice.
definitely something in the horizon.
Well,
Yeah,
and there's
because
some old B stock that you have up on your website that
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 hand wired pedals. So hey, people out there, get on that.
yeah, now's the time. Yeah, but that's definitely something that we are super excited to start to bring back, since that's where the company started.
Yeah.
The amps originally were all hand wired in Finland, and when the pedals started in 2006, they were all the hand wired stuff. They were all manufactured in Finland, and that's like where the company and the pedals, that's where the journey started. So we really want to bring that back in some capacity and do something interesting with it. So I think it's safe to say that there will be some differences, of course, since we want to also make things new. So we can hint at that there will be the hand-wired stuff will be really interesting in a way.
Yeah.
Dig it. Super cool. Now I got to ask you, what each of you, what is your favorite pedal that Mad Professor that you make, that you have?
Yeah. Do you have a ready answer, Jussa?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that exciting of an answer, I think, but
Oh, you
but
sold me on it so far. I can't wait to hear.
Well, I'm kind of torn because, as I said, I'm a really huge delay guy. So the Deep Blue delay, it's a classic. It's simple. It's versatile. It's amazing. But I like my gain pedals as well, and I've been really enjoying the Royal Blue Overdrive because it's super dynamic. I can get that raunchy, like aggressive gain sound out of it, or just use it as a milder sounding overdrive, and it stacks well with other pedals as well. So I really enjoy that. I mean, it's funny, we joke around with Mikko that every time we test a pedal, we have really different approaches to it. So so what I do with the Royal Blue, for example, I really like to just crank the gain up and put some treble frequencies in there, cut some bass, and just go for it. With my Stratocaster in drop D tuning, just bashing out chords.
Okay.
So that's I have to go with the Royal Blue. I'm just in love with that pedal.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
He's going to say the Ottawa. Watch this.
Actually, that has been on my board for quite a while. And I actually just the other night, I was using it more as a static like filter thing.
Oh.
And it's pretty fun. You can kind of get like synth type filter things out of it as well if you set it up correctly.
Interesting. See, now I'm intrigued. Okay.
Yeah. But actually, this might sound like a commercial now. But the new cymbal that is coming out, it's just I'm really really happy with where we landed with the circuit, and it's just I don't know, it just works with any amp that I use it with, any guitar that I use it with, which I feel like I always liked the previous version, but it didn't necessarily do that always. Especially with darker like neck pickups, it would get a little maybe too thick, or like wouldn't have the note separation that I would maybe want out of it.
Ah, yes.
So
see, there we are again. I'm with you. I want articulation.
Yeah. Yeah. So using all the buzzwords. But yeah, so this one, since it has more headroom, and then you can also get it a bit brighter than the previous version. So then you can really get that like pick attack true, like on the neck pickup as well. So I've been really just genuinely excited about that. And it's of course it's exciting also because it's, our first new product as the new owners, and working with the guy who designed the first version, like he makes his return. So that would be Lassi Ukkonen. He's has designed this, and it's kind of like I feel like it's such a good narrative on also what we are doing as, like bringing something new into this, because it's like, the first symbol came out like about 10 years ago. So kind of the idea was that what we said to him was that, okay, like we would want to bring this back because everyone is asking us to bring this back. And, we believe in it as a product, but we would want to refresh it somehow. So after 10 years, like, what do you want to change in it? Like, because we really believe in that, just the designer ownership over the process as well, because like we really know these people that we work with, and we know that there's like, because we have also designed pedals, so we know that when there is an idea, you want to get it to sound a certain way.
Right.
So that's like, we didn't really want to have any kind of like strong like ideas that we gave that like, oh, we wanted to do this. But it's like, we know that your stuff. So what would you want to do differently at this point?
That's cool. That's going to make for a great video too. I imagine you'll want to. I would imagine you'd do it. Maybe not. but I would watch that. I would watch that video if you two were both sitting there, or you three or four, how many are involved, talking about the merging, because this is really the first like convergence of V1 and V2, right?
Yeah.
And I went to the site and I was like, cymbal. I don't recall there being a cymbal pedal, and I also looked at the little lightning bolt and I'm like, that looks new. And it's a little, it's a small thing, but I immediately said, wait, this must be their new pedal, not having seen any kind of the information or other, but it's a pre-order right now.
Yeah, so it's coming out on 2nd of June.
Got it.
So we are very close.
Yes, yeah. It's confusing because the numbers say 2/6/25, which for us would be February 6th. Yeah. And I was like, they're still pre-ordering for that? Boy, did I miss the window there. So that's next week, something like that?
Yeah, it's in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, I'm very, very intrigued about that pedal, and I love the fact that you, sometimes we can get in our own heads too much, right? So if you see a pedal and you're like, okay, I think I know what this is going to do, and these are the controls, and it's the same controls we've always seen, and it's telling you exactly what it may do, but we have all hit those pedals where we're like, I don't know what this does. I'm just going to start playing with it. More often than not, that's when you get something and you're like, oh, wow. I didn't, because you don't have a pretense of what this may or may not allow you or inhibit you from doing. So you've got sensitivity and contour and accent. Now, that may confound some people, and they're like, how do I make this thing work?
Yeah, right.
You got to figure it out, and you're going to find the thing that you like. I love that.
Yeah, and it's kind of the thing that I really kind of like, the fact that it doesn't, even though it does, you could maybe say that it's gain and it's tone and it's like pre-gain tone and then it's presence. But the thing is that it's very interactive. So especially the sensitivity and the accent, they work together. So they essentially, both of them contribute to what you would consider gain.
Got it.
So then having a little different, phrasing on what it reads on the knobs, it challenges you to kind of think a little differently. And of course, the manual will explain that, this does this and this does this.
Manual schmanual.
Yeah. But you can also just use your ears and just,
Yes.
because that's kind of the thing that I also enjoy a lot about like the Mad Professor product line is the fact that it doesn't really necessarily go with the whole like here are the right settings, like this is how you should adjust your pedal, that like, oh, put everything 12 o'clock and you start there. It's like, no, you don't necessarily want to do that. You just want to play and see where it feels good, and sometimes you will max out a setting and then it sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to put it at minimum, and that's where you find it. And that's what I really like, that it challenges you to kind of test it out further,
Yeah.
because I feel like often especially with game pedals, I feel like we easily just kind of like, oh, like I don't want to tweak it too much this way, because you have some sort of a idea that like it's gonna be too bright, or it's gonna be
right.
this or that.
Right.
But it's just fun to kind of try it out and actually play. And the big part of kind of the DNA of especially like any gain related things in Mad Professor is that it's very touch dynamic.
Yes.
Like it interacts with how you play.
Yeah, that is a unique thing to Mad Professor. I think that's one of the things that either confounds people when they first start messing with it, or they're like, "Oh, wait, no, this is a creative tool." And I think the first one that I ever played, I think, was the Sweet Honey, and
I would think so.
and the whole like. The control, it just acts a little different, and I was trying to wrap my head around it, and that was kind of nice. Like when your brain's like, hang on, let's work this out here. That can lead to some really amazing creativity.
Yeah, definitely, and I really enjoy playing those, especially our game pedals, since I have a really heavy hand, like right hand.
Me too.
Yeah, so I've been like, with some other pedals, I might struggle a bit to like get everything I want, because I really hit hard. So if the pedal isn't dynamic enough, it doesn't like handle it. It just goes to a mush. And if I'm trying to get like more out of it, it doesn't give me that. But with our pedals, it's really like, if I hit my guitar hard, I get more out of it. So that's the thing that I really enjoy about our gain pedals, especially.
Yeah, man, you are speaking my language. I've literally said almost those exact words time and time again on the show. And my guitar builder friend Chase Gullett, he he built a custom guitar for me, and he's like, "Now here's the deal, man. I'm trying to figure out where to put the action on your guitar." I'm like, "Why? Just make it right." And he goes, "Yeah, but you freaking gorilla grip that thing." I'm like, "Okay, that's fair."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's funny, and I have this, like, it's really a beginner guitar that I modded to beyond belief. And I have 12s on that thing.
Wow.
Just I played them in standard, but that guitar, again, it's in drop D most of the time, but I've also played it in standard, and that's just something that I really enjoy, because I don't want the guitar to like give in somehow. So I just enjoy bashing the hell out of it, and it doesn't budge. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Now I know that you're probably gonna dip into the old stock at some point and say, "Hey, we're gonna bring back this." I imagine, I'm projecting that you guys will say, "Here's something old and here's something new," every so often.
Yeah, that's, again, there's a lot of products that were discontinued that we can safely say that we believe in as products. Not to go into specifics really, but that's kind of the thing of like, what is the timing of everything? Because I think the most crucial thing right now as a company is to come out with something new, because it has been pretty quiet, and we are kind of establishing ourselves as the new owners, and like kind of it's the clearest way to show people where this thing is going. So that's definitely the priority. But we are looking, as you said, we are looking at old and new. We are looking at the whole picture, because there is definitely a lot of good things in the back catalog that are not manufactured currently.
Yeah. And I think that the symbol is a really great place to start, since that has been like, there's a whole movement behind that pedal, and people have enjoyed that. And there aren't a lot of like going around on the used market, because people buy that pedal and they keep it.
Yeah.
So that's why there's also been this demand to bring that pedal back. And we wanted to oblige people and then also do something new with it, give it a bit of a update, some little spin on it. So I think that it's a good balance between those two. So it's something new, something old, and that's kind of the thing that we are looking forward to doing. So doing something older, something newer, some things are gonna change, some things are gonna stay similar. So that's the kind of good thing that I find with this, that moving forward we will be focusing on balancing everything out. So we will do something old, something new, some new things older, and old things newer, and all in between. If it makes any sense.
Yeah.
That's really funny, because that is very confusing sentence, but it's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You have the way that the pedals are set up have been the same, for ages, right? Until the Supreme and the Super Black came along, right? Now, the thing that I really like about those two, aside from it being two pedals in one, is the location of the foot switch. In the sense that it's not dead in the middle of the pedal. I've got big feet.
Yeah.
And like, that's always been like, oh, I wish this was just like a half-inch lower. So, hey, just saying, since you're polling the public for ideas, that's just one of those things. But
yeah. And that's genuinely what we believe, that any feedback is good feedback. You start to pick up patterns, like when you ask people what they think about things, and that's kind of the thing what happened with the symbol as well, because that was the first thing we started polling, from dealers, distributors, and people following us on Instagram, of like, what is the best thing that we have had that we don't currently have.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of the legwork that we did that led us to the symbol.
Well, it's a very exciting release. I'm super intrigued about it, and I'm sure, what I will say, to your credit, what most people would have done, I think, if they were saying, hey, we're going to take out this, okay, first thing we got to do is put a bunch of new stuff out there, build a whole bunch of pedals, and release them, right? Yeah. And I credit you guys for doing the legwork and the handshaking and the talking and the connecting before just going and doing all the manufacturing stuff. Because now people know who they're working with. They're excited about the things that you are, the future of Mad Professor. Instead of saying, wait, where did all these pedals come from? Who are these guys? What's the story? It's I'm sure there must have been a bit of a conflict of like, what do we do first?
For sure. And I think that the difference in mindset, it's the question of like, is this a business venture or is this a passion project?
Ooh, good one. Yeah.
And again, if it was a business venture and we were just looking at kind of like, okay, like we will do this and this and this, and again, like after such a hiatus, probably we would have focused more on just being here in our offices and just churning out new stuff all the time. But
Yeah, or
we
flooding
really
the
know-
market with a lower price catalog to try to turn
and
them
like,
over.
Exactly, and that's kind of the thing that like that's not really the values of the company
Right.
either, because there's such a great history of like, you know, these people coming together and just deciding to start this company and like just doing something original and kind of being like one of the first people really on the boutique pedal thing actually back in the day. So then, you know, like doing something like mass producing stuff in China, like that's not what this is. That has been about or will be about.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to find what serves your values as a company as well. Because again, we are both very much passionate about this industry, and we are very excited to meet other builders. We are excited to meet about, you know, artists, people doing media, like whether it's podcast or Instagram or whatever, like whatever medium, people are like excited about what this is all about. Then it's like that's the priority always, to interact with people. And again, like, because the main goal is that we are all excited about music,
Gotcha. Yep.
and then, you know, then it's a business second.
Well,
Yeah.
it certainly feels like you have your priorities in order. I mean, that was, like I said, when we first met you guys, it was like, okay, we're going to hear a lot from them in the future. This is going to be great. You know, new products, the whole 9 yards, everything we've talked about. That's what Rob and I talked about in like the next 20 minutes after talking with you guys. So it was really exciting. And I'm so glad that we got to finally get together and talk about all of the great things coming forward from Mad Professor. We're going to begin to wrap things up here. I do have something that we always do. I'm taking the reins from Tony, so please be forgiving of me, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We have a little thing that we do called
Would you rather?
All right, Jared's lovely angelic voice. So Tony, this is where Tony usually takes over, so I'll do my best. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Would You Rather. We've got a really good one from. Okay, this guy just keeps churning them out, and we gotta roll with it. So we expect more from others soon. Bob Crouch talking to you. Bruce Bacon talking to you. You guys always contribute lots of that stuff. But I challenge everyone else too. This one is from Michael Nazionale. And this is called How to Train Your Dragon / out strike through guitar. So how to train your guitar. This is an interesting one. It says the manufacturer just downloaded a new feature onto the new revolutionary Novak guitar. Okay, so he came up with this guitar thing based on knobs and my last name from our last episode. And it said this new feature enables the guitar through artificial intelligence to learn your playing style so it can accompany you on solo riffs. I'm a self-professed, well, it's not even professing. I'm just, copping to the reality that I'm not an amazing solo player. I do try, and I'm going to keep getting better. So this is going to help me out on solo riffs. So I appreciate that. It can learn as many genres as you can play. My big genres, subgenres, micro genres, all that stuff. You have up to 3 playing styles to use to train the AI model. Okay, so think big picture all the way down to small picture, rock, jazz, country, punk, etc., down to mid 2010s Swedish death metal, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. All right. The more diverse the styles, the better the training. So, which 3 styles or genres will you play for your AI intelligence?
Who? That will take a little bit.
I think I already have sort of a hunch where I'm going with this,
Okay.
because as I think has come out during this conversation, that I really like my sort of hardcore punk. That's where my like playing style is.
Yeah.
Kind of. So that's a home for me. So I
What's your favorite hardcore punk band?
Ooh, I really like this band called Strike Anywhere. I'm actually going to see them next week. They are playing in Finland after, what is it, like 15 years or something?
That's an amazing band name. Dang it.
Yeah, yeah. They are a really great political band from the US. So I've been following and listening to them for years. So that's the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm super excited about the gig. But yeah, since that's kind of where my playing style home is, I think that I would go. Was it 3? So I
Yes.
think I would go for hardcore punk, because that's the thing I know and I play the most. So it would be good to like make it familiar with that. But then I would like to broaden out to jazz. I don't play jazz at all. I mean, I can do some kind of mockery of it, but that's it. So it would be fun to like challenge myself, and if it can help me, then even the better. And then
So wait, let me ask you on the jazz thing, okay? Because there's jazz that's like saying rock, right?
Yep.
yeah,
So
right.
Are we talking bop swing? Are we talking contemporary, or is it so like actually a band that I really love, Up Your Way? I don't think they're still together, but and forgive my pronunciation. Dungeon.
Okay, haven't heard of them. No.
Or wait, was that the album? That was the album. So they're Swedish. They had one called Panda too. Oh, I'll find it while we're talking, so I don't look like a complete fool. Okay.
Okay, so if I make it more specific, for some reason the like one jazz genre that comes to mind is gypsy jazz.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think it's a weird one for me to say, but it's so far from what I do. Then it would be great to like challenge myself. And
Yeah. That's hard stuff. Or it looks really hard. It's weird. Some things are hard and some things look hard and some things are both.
Yeah, right.
I think this is a both.
Yeah, because I mean it's super fast and intricate and like also delicate in a way.
Yeah.
That's like the lighter side where I would go to, and then to make it even weirder, I would go for that 90s, early 2000s like Norwegian death metal.
Okay.
That and the Swedish, like the Malmo sound of like putting an HM2 all knobs full and just going for it. That kind of really nasty playing and like sort of that kind of mayhem, bath, that kind of thing. Yeah,
I get it.
That's like my weird range I would go for.
So I gotta follow up with a clarifying question here.
Right.
So was the question that you would feed it things that are kind of in the ballpark of what you would already do? Or is it just like, what would you feed it if you wanted it to kind of do the most?
Yeah, I think it's like you want to feed it the things that are going to most fit the thing that you're doing. So
Okay, yeah,
just like
right.
if you're doing anything in AI, Chat GPT or whatever,
Yeah.
you try to hone in as specific as possible to be able to apply a little bit more broadly.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, I think, well, starting kind of at a point that I really personally, again, like I'm more on the lighter side these days. I've played a lot of heavier stuff back in the day, but these days I'm very strongly in the jazz blues ish area. So I think maybe funk overall, kind of like, and talking very heavily in the like Cory Wong, Wolfpack.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that, I mean, guitar wise, that's exactly the same person. I was gonna list a bunch of different groups, and I just realized that Cory Wong actually plays in pretty much all of them. But yeah, but like kind of that like I don't know how you identified it. Is it neo funk or whatever that would be
That's a
specifically?
good
But
word.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah, but like kind of the modern movement of funk would be one.
Yes.
And then you just stole my gypsy jazz. That's actually because that's a style that I have really enjoyed like a lot over the years. And there's actually one really, really good gypsy jazz player, is actually one of the best in the world right now, called Olli Soikkeli, who is from Finland. So following his stuff for quite a long time. So that's something that I really also like. But then maybe rather than going for necessarily a genre, but maybe a style of playing would be slide.
Oh, okay.
Overall, because I kind of, that's because I like very different approaches of that.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, of course, you know, Joey Landreth probably being the best modern example of that. But but then, like, again, I have always liked Dwayne Allman's slide playing as well,
Yeah.
to go like a bit further back. So like stylistically, that's probably because I feel like that diversifies it a lot, because just the tonality and the phrasing is so different.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
maybe those three then.
I like that. Well, I'm going to. And by the way, it was it looks like dungeon, but
Yeah.
I think it's probably pronounced something with a little bit more mouth stuff, like oohs and ohs and stuff.
Yeah,
If you haven't checked them out, they put out a couple of fantastic albums. Oh my gosh, so good. So like, whoa, what is this? And I haven't heard from him in a long time. Okay, I'm gonna go with post-punk alt. So think like Jane's Addiction, Dave Navarro kind of thing. Okay.
yeah,
What I like about that, and I still like, is that it was bridging the gap between a couple of different things and not committing to any one. So it was really inventive, and I think that there were some things that were like, you know, kind of standard, but then like went wild, and I like that. I think late 50s country,
nice.
not heavy duty like 27 finger chicken picking, because I'm just never going to be able to do that. But I love some of the organization of what they're doing, and you know, setting up the song, and like little flares and little nuances that, you know, are just really nice. And I think also I'd have to go with I'm torn. I'm gonna go with like early stoner.
Yeah,
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Rhythm wise, I like to sit there currently, but I like that also. That was a genre that was like we're trying to push this in a different way. And there's some really, really interesting things, unconventional, that were happening there. And, the most famous, or one of the most famous, I should say, the Caius turning into queens. I mean,
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, that was super duper fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are wrapping the show up. I need to say a colossal thank you to our executive producers. We have executive producers on the show. Tony does this his way. I can't mimic it exactly word for word, so just bear with me. This show runs on the incredible generosity and passion that our supporters have. Our executive producers on Patreon, honestly, we could not do the show for this long without you. It would be impossible. And so we've got executive producers. I'm going to read them off, and they are John Sebastian, Trevor Ellenberg, Cameron Pampas, James Bell, Michael Furman. James Bell's name just came up in an Ian Rankin book that I'm reading. That's so funny. Brett Hogarth, Gregory Randall, Don Kloss, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? That one's already taken over here. Rusty Sneeden, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Richard Kendall, James Pennington, James White, Justin Jones, John Esterly, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Lawrence Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Darren Gregory, Tom Barazin, Eric Marrow, Plutone, Michael Davenport, Owen Eads, and Ty Barnes. Wowzers. I am just absolutely blown away at what we have here. But there is more. There is the Grand Poobahs. The Grand Poobahs have taken the step further in supporting our show. If you'd like to learn more about this, go to patreon.com/get the guitar knobs, and you will see what we're talking about. Grand Poobahs. There's a great big collective hug, real big bear hug from me right now. Martin Cliff out in Bucharest, Romania. God, wow. Anthony Gemaleros, Billy Spitfire, Bob Crouch, Brian Robertson, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studios, Hex Matos. Happy birthday, Hex. James Pennington, John Williams, LSJ Music Company, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Moon Guitars, Paul Von Eppinger, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, Tyler Ryan, Zach Oswald, Pedro Velasquez, Gregory Randall, Micah Nazionale, Jonathan Labate from M2 Labs, and I mentioned him before, Ty Barnes has jumped into that group as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are interested in joining this illustrious group of guitar enthusiasts, please do so over at Patreon. We cannot thank you enough, so we try to do it every single week. Gentlemen, that's it. We made it through. I need to say a huge thank you to you guys for sharing your time and breathing new life into a well-loved brand.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Where can people go to get the things that you make, and specifically the new cymbal?
Right. Okay, let's go. So our website and web store is at mpamp.com. And you can also find us on Instagram at Mad Professor Amp. And we have our retailers around the globe in Europe, Finland, Asia. The USA is a bit difficult right now, but Canada will sort you out and we can send you direct. So if you're in the US, like most of you are, I suggest that you will head on to our web store and buy direct. That's the easiest thing to do. Right now, we will cover the tariffs and we will be on your side so you can get our amazing pedals delivered to your home.
What a mess.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you. So
yeah, but we got you guys.
you can still get on
the US.
that symbol pre-order, right?
Yeah. Till it starts selling 2nd of June. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So if you
depending when this comes out.
yeah.
This will be out first thing next week.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
this week. Well, it's out. When you're hearing this, it's out. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
go buy a symbol, go buy some merch, go buy anything you find interesting. We have some amps still, so our amazing amps go well with our amazing pedals. So we will get you covered anyway.
Support these guys. They are going to do great things, and they've got big heart for all the things that we care about too. So make sure that you get yourself some of these Mad Professor bits. All right, you can send me a DM on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. I do share everything else out with the gentlemen who are not seated at the table currently. We'd love to get a would you rather from you. Think you can do better than Mikka and Jussa? I wonder. You should try. Guys, thank you so much. I loved talking to you. I'm very excited for the brand and both of your futures, and I expect that we will talk again sometime in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone, have a fantastic Guitar Week and subscribe.
Woo!
I'm super sorry about that. So you get me, and hopefully I can do this since
We believe in you.
Thank
Yeah,
you. I appreciate it. That's what I needed. He left again. So, goodness sakes. There he is. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, stay right there. Don't move.
I'm trying to.
Don't move. Get a piece of tin foil and just hold it above your head or something. Okay. Oh, there you're back. All right. You put the tin foil down.
Oh, right. Sorry.
That's okay. It's just going to be one of those kind of shows. Woohoo! We did it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Jussa is still here.
Yeah, I know, right?
I held up my tinfoil for the rest of the show.
Yeah. You made a hat out of it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.